Who are you to think that you're just going to start something and instantly be a success? Who are you to even compare yourself to somebody who has already got there and you're just starting off? The most important part of starting off is truly starting. But being a perfectionist, you're not giving yourself the freedom to let go. So of course, in the video about perfection, I waste a bunch of time trying to set up the camera and everything perfectly. What's up, you guys? This is Kyrie Nashim, aka Neo Sold, and today we are going to talk about perfection. Let's get into it. This is what I wrote this morning. This is my morning page for today. Stop thinking and just do. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to get done. Getting things done brings the blessing of completion and the gift of moving on, the gift of freedom. Freedom from staying stuck, limited, and imprisoned by my own mind, my thoughts, emotions, fears, etc. The mind can become an enemy, and the mind can trick you out your spot if you let it. I know that God does not want me to be stuck in the spirit of stagnation, so I must keep my thoughts on Him. He wants me to move forward and create a beautiful life for myself. He wants me to be healed. I am moving past fear and perfection and on to my next chapter. So that's what I wrote this morning in my morning pages. The morning pages have been very beneficial because, like she says, it does really subconsciously open your mind up to expression. Like more than just creation, just expressing yourself. I think a blockage that I have had for a while is having so much going on mentally and emotionally and ruminating over it and trying to find the perfect way to express it to the point where it doesn't even get expressed. Doing the morning pages is a perfect practice in forcing yourself not to do that because there's no wrong way to do it. You literally just get a notebook, you get your pen, and you start flowing. You could even start it off by saying, I don't know what to write. Something about that really tickles my brain in the way that it needs to. On to the actual chapter. Now, did I finish this chapter? No, but I realized, and in the theme of this week, that's just another form of perfectionism, thinking that I need to finish the whole chapter to even share it with y'all. Because I've already gotten what I need to feel excited enough to make the video. Of course, I'm going to finish reading the chapter because I already know how I am. Like, I don't skip things. I always start shows off on the first episode, you feel me? So I'm going to read the chapter. But a big theme that I'm breaking through is that you just got to start. You just got to do it. And you'll be waiting forever to actually get things done. If you're waiting for that perfect moment or you're waiting to be completed, you know, you're never truly completed. Even if I would have finished this chapter, I definitely would have still felt like, oh, nah, I still can't do the video because I have to write enough notes with the chapter. I still can't do the video because I need to practice what I'm going to say or whatever. And that's just losing the plot. So, yeah, that's another update. That's kind of what I've been going through mentally. I do have stuff that I'm working on aside from this project, but when it comes to this project, it is very easy to lose the plot for so many reasons. Like, of course, not getting enough feedback or eyes on me or attention, but also that one is a duality because I've recognized the freedom in that. Like, if nobody's watching, then what the fuck, who cares? You know, that is really teaching me that it's really just my critic that is critiquing. Even more so than that, it's like just feeling like I have to have the perfect setup or things have to be right. You know what I mean? I have to be in the best mood, or I have to get X, Y, and Z done, or I just have to feel it in that day. And there's some realness to it because I don't think that you should force creation, but at the same time, you just got to do it. You just got to get it done. I'm looking on my wall because I have this wall of all of the notes and everything that is currently going through my mind. And one of the things that I wrote is stop thinking and just do it, you know? And so that's kind of been a blockage that I'm moving through, just getting it done. But on to the actual book. Recovering a sense of connection. The ability to listen is a skill we are owning with both our morning pages and our artist dates. The pages train us to hear past our censor. The artist states help us to pick up the voice of inspiration. While both of these activities are apparently unconnected to the actual act of making art, they are critical to the creative process. So she talks about how art is not about thinking something up, but getting something down, which I felt was pretty helpful. I mean, definitely in the type of creation that I do, I've struggled in the past with just mostly the anxiety over thinking that I'm going to run out of ideas and thinking that I'll run out of things to talk about, or that there's just like a limited supply of good ideas and good material. And a breakthrough for me personally with that is just not putting that limit on myself, because that truly is putting a limit on God or the universe, creation. You know, there's always more. So you got to have an abundance mindset with that. But also, you know, she's spoken before how creativity comes from a well. Like, we all have a well within us. And when we create, we're going down into the well and we're harvesting the ideas, you know what I mean? The water, basically. And the problem with that is that we don't take enough time to replenish the well, and we want to keep pulling from the well when the well has run dry. And the way that we replenish the well is going on those artist states, doing your morning pages, and really feeding your inner child, your inner artist. But she's never described it in this way, where she's saying that it's not about thinking something up, it's getting something down. She says if we're trying to think something up, we are straining to reach for something that's just beyond our grasp. Yes, I highlighted we are straining, and now it's coming back to me. You feel me? Because I feel like what she's saying is like, to think that we have to think something up is already putting yourself in a space of lack. Versus getting something down is like knowing that it's already within. Like, the story is already within. The creation is already within. You just got to pull it out from within you. When we get something down, there is no strain. We're not doing, we're getting. Someone or something else is doing the doing. Instead of reaching for inventions, we are engaged in listening. And even with that, it kind of connects to, like, to me, I feel like the masculine and feminine way of going about things. Like, traditionally, the masculine is thought of as being direct and going after what you want in a very disciplined and uniform way, and kind of taking things head on, you know, being in control, I would say. And the feminine is more receptive, you know, waiting. And it can be easy, definitely, for me to think that I can control everything, but you can't control everything. No matter how much energy you put towards something, and discipline and structure, no matter how much you put out, it is literally equally important to be in that feminine energy as well, and be receptive and wait, you know what I mean? Have patience and have faith. That's important, period. And I've said before, like, this book is it's supposed to be about art, but I feel like it connects in so many different ways. But like, you will stress yourself out and run yourself ragged in anything if you don't put it in God's hands at a certain point. You can't control everything. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to receive, because in that listening, in that reception, it could be other means, other blessings, and other avenues to getting what you want. But if you are so gung-ho and tunnel vision and focused on attaining it in such a direct way, you'll miss that because you don't have balance. I feel like the examples that she lists really relate to that. She says when an actor is in the moment, he or she is engaged in listening for the next right thing creatively. When a painter is painting, he or she may begin with a plan, but that plan soon surrendered to the painting's own plan. This is often expressed as the brush just takes the next stroke. In dance, in composition, in sculpture, the experience is the same. We are more the conduit than the creator of what we express. Art is an act of tuning in and dropping down the well. It is though all the stories, painting, music, performances in the world live just under the surface of our normal consciousness. Like an underground river, they float through us as a stream of ideas that we can tap down into. As artists, we drop down the well into the stream. We hear what's down there and we act on it. More like taking direction than anything fancy having to do with art. But yeah, there's so much that I highlighted. I'm gonna just go over what I highlighted. Like I said, I haven't even finished the chapter, but this one has definitely been one of the most powerful and impactful ones. And just knowing me, I naturally really want to digest it and like take down every every morsel of knowledge that I can get from this chapter. But I can't lose the plot. I don't need to perfectly learn it. The book will be here and I gotta move on, because that's one of the things that she says too. I'll tap in with this one. And this is about perfectionism. Perfectionism is a refusal to let yourself move ahead. It is a loop, an obsessive, debilitating, closed system that causes you to get stuck in the details of what you are writing or painting or making, and to lose sight of the whole. And that's what I'm trying to say. I can't get caught in the details of the one perfectionism chapter video, so much so that I lose sight of the whole project and the whole point of this, which is to get comfortable turning on the camera, hitting that shit and posting this and not giving a fuck, and finding the freedom in creation and just comfort on camera and comfort with my voice. The same thing that I said in the first video. I gotta not lose the plot, not lose sight of the whole, and not get caught up in the details. With this and with everything, you feel me? Instead of creating freely and allowing errors to reveal themselves later as insights, we often get mired in getting the details right. We correct our originality. I should have highlighted this one. She said, we correct our originality into a uniformity that lacks passion and spontaneity. Do not fear mistakes, Miles Davis told us. There are none. She said, we correct our originality into a uniformity that lacks passion and spontaneity. And I feel like that's so real in this day and age with all this pressure to do things the right way, to not be cringe, to fit into a mold. You lose yourself in the process. You lose the plot. The theme is to not lose the plot. For me, I feel like perfectionism is truly how you lose the plot in so many aspects of life. The point of life is to live it. The point of life is for it to be lived. The point of creation is for it to be completed. The perfectionist fixes one line of a poem over and over until no lines are right. The perfectionist redraws the line on a portrait until the paper tears. The perfectionist writes so many versions of a scene that she never gets to the rest of the play. The perfectionist writes, paints, creates with one eye on her audience. Instead of enjoying the process, the perfectionist is constantly grading the results. And that's also why I'm taking my time, because it's like she is dragging me, like she's really coming for the jugular. The way that she writes is so real. And I think this book is from like the freaking 90s. Julia Cameron, is that her name? Miss Julia Cameron. I don't even know if she's still alive, but she ate this book, man. Like, and it's crazy too, because it's so spiritual. Like this is like a Bible. This is like a Bible for artists. And I mean that in every sense of the word, like in the literal sense, not like it's actually a Bible, but it does talk a lot about your connection with God and like what God wants for us, but also just like how this connects to so many aspects of life. I feel like you need to read this book even if you don't make art. You feel me? Life is an art. We are creating our lives each day and each moment. For the perfectionist, there are no first drafts, rough sketches, warm-up exercises. Every draft is meant to be the final, perfect, set in stone. The perfectionist is never satisfied. The perfectionist never says, this is pretty good, I think I'll just keep going. To the perfectionist, there's always room for improvement. The perfectionist calls this humility. In reality, it is egotism. It is pride that makes us want to write the perfect script, paint a perfect painting, perform a perfect audition monologue. And that's also what I was saying in the first video. That's pride. Insecurity is pride. Perfectionism is pride. And pride is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I feel like obviously it is a bad thing, but I'm saying we think of pride in a very conceited way, like somebody who is prideful is aggressive or that they're hostile, but pride doesn't always show up that way. Pride can show up as insecurity. Pride can show up as perfectionism. Pride can show up in that sense when I was saying people don't start making YouTube videos because they think of it and they're like, I'm not going to be the best. I'm not going to be like the person who I watch every day who has the millions of views and their comments are jumping and all that. But that's pride. Like, who are you to think that you're just going to start something and instantly be a success? Who are you to even compare yourself to somebody who has already got there and you're just starting off? The most important part of starting off is truly starting. But being a perfectionist, you're not giving yourself the freedom to let go. You're not giving yourself the freedom to create the life that you want to create. And I'm talking to myself, you know? Perfectionism is not a quest for the best. It is a pursuit of the worst in ourselves. The part that tells us nothing we do will ever be good enough. That we should try again. No, we should not. She said that. She straight up said, no, we should not try again. You shouldn't try again. You shouldn't reshoot that video. You should not re-record your vocals. You should not rewrite the script again. You don't need to edit it one more time and make sure that it's in the best quality. Nah, you should just drop it. You should just release it and move on to the next thing. A film is never cut perfectly. But at a certain point, you let go and call it done. That is a normal part of creativity, letting go. We always do the best that we can by the light we have to see by. Then she said, question, what would I do if I didn't have to do it perfectly? Answer, a great deal more than I am. The success of a creative recovery hinges on our ability to move out of the head and into action. And that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. That's kind of where I'm at with life, is I've recognized that I don't need to think about most things that I want to do at a certain point. I just need to do them. And I think it's the 80-20 rule that says that, like, at a certain point, working towards the goal is actually taking you farther away because you don't know when to call it. And I feel like that's an issue. And the other issue is just getting started. For me, I just got to stop thinking about it and do it. And that's what this video was this week. Like I said, I do have more stuff coming down the pipeline that I'm very excited about. But as far as this week's Artist Way, we are on week 7, recovering a sense of connection. I am not finished with it. I think I'm like halfway through. I'm not sure if next week is going to be a part 2 on this, but even in saying that out loud, I'm probably just gonna move on. And I think that what I'm getting from this chapter will definitely stick with me and come forth in future videos. So yeah, this has been Kyrie Nashim, aka Neo Sold. Remember that your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds.